Hi guys, it's just Saturday, a lovely sunny Saturday as well. I've got that closed because there's a unit right next to me and you'll be able to see the logo of the company that I'm not allowed to show you. So that's why I've got the curtain closed. But yeah, some of these units give me sweeties and some of these units want to kill me. This particular unit wishes to kill me. The reason I know that is because it's given me that. And if anybody thinks it's empty, trust me, it's not. It's seriously not empty. And it's very moist as well, so it's not exactly dried out. So some driver forgot his patch. Now I don't smoke, so this is a complete waste of time for me. I used to smoke, don't anymore. But yeah. So this particular unit wishes to kill me. Goody gumdrops. But anyway, all I've got today is a cheeky little Reading and then back again. But it is bank holiday weekend, so chances are I'm going to get held up because the M25 is most likely going to be knackered. Saw an accident on the way into work, stopped, gave my details over. On the M11 southbound, trundling along quite happily, and a vehicle, a white Skoda Octavia, is overtaking a truck. Now there's two trucks travelling in convoy. They're wagon and drag flatbeds, and it's just, you know how some people are really irritated when they overtake trucks and they just go well, the Skoda was doing that basically for ages. And these two guys are travelling in convoy. They're the same company, so they're not wanting to overtake or anything like that. And the one behind, just as a Skoda's alongside him and doing what these usually doing, you know, I have every right to be doing this speed in the middle lane, ha 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 ha, has a offside front blowout. All over the car. I mean, the Skoda just swerves. Fortunately, there's nobody alongside him. The Skoda swerves, of course, the truck swerves. They both end up in the third lane. His mate pulls in, stops. I'm slamming on the brakes, go into the hard shoulder. I'm like, okay. I was like, that'll teach a Skoda not to go past a truck slowly, won't it? Now, I have to hold my hand up. I do 56 in my car. I set it on cruise control 56, but every time I go past a truck, I go past the truck, pull back in, and then allow it to gradually slow back down again. So, that's a lesson to all you guys out there. If you're overtaking a truck, trust me, when these tyres go bang, they'll take out the side of your car. Go past them. But anyway, that was fun. Anyway, I came off to South Mims and I went on to the A1 North, and the traffic wombles had shut the road. Oh, really? I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh no. Oh, really? After all this? And there's motorway maintenance guys where the slip road joins onto the A1 North, and they're doing something, whatever it is. Well, after they've moved and we're allowed to go again, I've discovered what it was. You got two slip lanes from South Mims onto the A1 North. One joins early, one joins later. Well, the later one, where it joins, there's a lot of potholes, there's a lot of bits and bobs that are forming. But what these motorway maintenance guys have been doing is they've been packing it. You know, just putting some, well, wet tarmac in, I suppose, but just packing it. The traffic wombles have let us go. We've started, there's a truck, two in front of me. He's gone over it almost deliberately because he's had to turn early to do it, and he's just gouged out everything they've just put back in. I was like, woohoo, that was a pointless waste of bloody time, wasn't it? So, yeah. It's been quite fun so far, and given that it is bank holiday, I can guarantee it's going to be quite fun for the rest of the day. One thing I do have to say about these cameras is one of the things from the instructions and all that is do not leave them in direct sunlight. Yeah, nothing I can do about that. And if you think about what do you use them for? I mean, okay, you could use them as dash cams like I'm using, or you could get an actual dash cam. But you bung them on your lid and you go for a ride, or you're on a mountain bike, or you're skydiving or something like that. it's in direct sunlight the entire time, and it's enclosed in things like these. I mean, VOs are well known to actually, the heat gets trapped in here and it all steams up, which is why I never bother using them anyway, because it kind of muffles all the sound of the voice, so I never bother using them. And of course this is the wonderful thing that the SJ cam comes in, and it's that one. That little button there. All you have to do is literally breathe on it and the bleeding thing comes on, as I discovered yesterday. That's fun. But anyway, I shall do my paperwork. I've only got Reading, so it's no massive issue, hopefully. Because I thought I was going to have Basingstoke. Then I thought I was going to have Lowestoft. But because I was late, he was going to give me Basingstoke, but they'd already given it out, and it's like, we haven't given load 106 out. We've given load 107 out. And the lad behind the desk who's giving out the work went, ah. I gave 106 out instead of 107. So I've got 107. Whoops. I don't care. I get paid 8 hours and all I'm doing is Reading and back. It's not exactly going to take 8 hours. But anyway, I shall see you on the road. Well, on the M25, it's actually quite free flowing at the moment. There have been a couple of vehicles I've walked past that have had whoops-a-daisies occur to them, and here comes some more. I wasn't going to actually put them in, you know, I didn't really thinking about it. I haven't lined anything up or timed anything. But it's just, they're everywhere. It's like every bank holiday weekend, it's every half mile, every mile, there's cars in the hard shoulder, either broken down, does happen, or smushed out. And I'm thinking, right, I'll time everything, because what I do when I time all my bits and bobs together, because obviously I've got one camera facing me, one camera facing forward, and I don't exactly, because obviously you might be able to see a vehicle go past in the background, or if I don't time it, I might be turning, but I'm not actually turning on this, so completely throw you. So what I tend to do is I go 3, 2, 1, and then I cut it at the 1 and line everything up from there. It just saves so much hard work if you're planning on doing something like this. And of course I hadn't really timed anything, I hadn't really bothered, you know, because unless I'm actually going to speak or say something, what's the point? Because I might line everything up and then it might be half hour before I actually say anything, you know. So yeah, but I thought, nah, solid, I'll line everything up, and now look, nothing, sod all, zip, nada, not a damn thing. It's sod's law, isn't it? It's just sod's law. I just can't win at the moment, mate. Really can't win at the moment. But yeah, it's a wonderful day, nice, reasonable weather, not too cold, not too hot. I hate the heat, I detest it. I don't know, it's one of the things that was making me want to go to Canada more than Texas. I do love to stay in Texas, but it's just, I don't like heat. I really don't like heat. It gets to me. I mean, when you're fat and hairy like I am, the heat really is not good. I mean, I'm a very warm person. As my other half will tell you, I'm the radiator. When it gets hot, I have great difficulty in cooling down. And I've had various little odds of heat exhaustion and things like that in my lifetime. It's not nice, trust me, it's really not nice. But no, going back to the old motivational speech that I made, I just want to make something very clear. I know I mentioned it during the speech, but I do want to drive it home. Whatever you do, whatever you choose to attempt, be disciplined in it. Understand that yes, it can work, but also yes, it can fail. If you've got a plan, if you've got an idea, and you're really not onto a winner, it's not going to work. you will find that out reasonably early on. Depending on what it is, depends on how long the process may take. But once you realise, once you can safely say, I'm not really going to work, this isn't really going to work, then stop. Just stop. Okay, it might be hard to turn away from it. You might sit there and think, oh, just a little bit more, just a little bit more. But that just a little bit more will end you in bankruptcy and all kinds of crap. Now, there is a counter side to that. A lot of people, there are some instances where a lot of people will stop on the verge of being successful and somebody else will come with the idea. So you do have to kind of weigh up the pros and cons. Now, if anybody thinks I was just ripping my dad on the last one, I wasn't. I was using it as an example. You see, when you actually go back, yes, okay, he came up with the concept based around the old Avon delivery system, but instead of posting a magazine catalogue through somebody's letterbox, it was just a case of, here's my contact details, send me electronic mail, fax, or phone me, that kind of stuff. So it was kind of the foundation block of what home delivery would eventually be built on. Internet shopping, that kind of stuff. But it's one of many foundation blocks. And two, he had a mortgage and a young child at the time, so he had to weigh that up as well. So don't think I'm ripping him a new one on that one, because I wasn't. I was using it as an example of what could have been if you'd just taken that one extra little step. If you'd just gone, okay, I'll take a loss leader. A bit like supermarkets. I mean, you walk into a supermarket, you've got milk, bread, eggs, sugar, cheese, fat, that kind of thing. They're all loss leaders. It's what everybody buys, but they don't make any profit on it, which is the big issue in the dairy industry, with farmers not being paid enough. Well, the supermarkets aren't making any money on it, they're literally just giving it away. And so in order to make that work, they've got to pay the dairy farmers a low price. And the thing is, it costs X amount to actually produce a litre of milk, because you've got cattle feed, obviously all the machinery costs, your insurance costs, medical costs for the cattle, everything like that. And so it's loss leaders get people into a store, but they knacker the people supplying those products, because those people have got to understand they're not going to make a lot of money on it, because the supermarkets are ultimately losing money. And of course, when you go back to the, oh well, you know, too much weight in my vehicle, I'll be using too much fuel, I won't make enough profit or any profit, that kind of stuff. Well, that's your loss leader, isn't it? You know, okay, they want nappies, they want baby food, they want this, but they also want dads or bowl or parcel or whatever, so as they can wash the clothes and the baby stuff and all that kind of bits and bobs. So you're making money on, oh, goody gum drops, here it comes. Here comes the bank holiday traffic, lovey-dovey. So you're making money on your primary, your core subjects, which really like to transport, don't use a lot of fuel, your markup is good, so on and so forth. Ooh, this is going to be fun. But you're losing a bit of it, covering the cost of, you know, transporting the heavier products, but the heavier products are what people also want. And of course it would have put him in a wonderful, I can see where the business manager he was talking to was coming from, because it would have put him in a really weird predicament. He would have gone, yes, you email me, you fax me, you phone me at your own expense. You know, obviously the internet, email was free, but fax and phone line and stuff like that, but your own expense, and then I'll go out and get your baby stuff. Yeah, what about the rest of my shopping? So they've got to go out and do the shop anyway, you know. So it would have probably, his business model would probably have collapsed based on, well, what's the point? We've got to go out and do our shopping anyway, so what's the point? So I could see where the business leader was coming from, or the investor, I should say, was coming from, when he said, well, why don't you do everything else? And I'm sure you guys can see it as well. So I wasn't ripping my dad a new one on that. I do have to make that completely clear to everybody who might have thought I was. I was using it as an example of, it was a good business plan, but it would never work because somebody else wanted you to do this, and maybe it was better to do that, but there's no profit. You know, that kind of thing. You've got to balance it all out. Some things you'll earn money on, some things you'll break even on, some things you'll lose money on. But as long as you're earning more than you're losing, that's how a business works. Or a profitable business works anyway. Oh, look at this. Oh, great. This is going to be my day now. This is all my day is going to be. Feel sorry for me. Don't you just love bank holiday traffic? All the lazy bastards who couldn't be asked to get up early and travel in the early hours. Everybody leaves at the same time. I don't know what the hell that Clio's doing. Has absolutely no clutch control. Look at that. The Audi, perfectly happy, just rolling along. Clio, fast, stop, fast, stop. Oh, the Clio's figured it out now, look at that. You do see some amusing sights when you drive. Especially when you're stuck in traffic. Because you look at that, there goes the Clio again, just takes off. I guarantee the person driving that Clio hasn't bothered to try and learn how to drive since passing their assessment. I'm not going to call it a test, it's an assessment. Because I know a number of people who've gone through that process. I've helped them as well, and they're being taught in blocks. And you sit there, and one of my friends especially, he was, you know, learning how to drive. He was in his 20s, well into his 20s, and we went out. You know, he got a car, and a massive pile of crap that most people's first cars are, let's be fair. And he was a week away from his test, and he wanted, you know, he got himself the car, and he wanted me to be passenger so he could have our plates on, all the usual bits and bobs. And we're sitting there, and he's doing everything in weird. He's doing everything really weird. It's like there's no flow, there's no organic flow to it. It was like, right, he's in, starts the engine, clutch down, into first. Now the revs come up. Now the bite point is found. Now the handbrake is let off. Now we start to move. And he's doing the same thing in gear changes as well. It's like he's going down into gear, bringing the revs up, lifting the clutch. It's really odd, because he's been taught in blocks. And I just sat there and said, right, take it, like, there you go. I guarantee that's because that person was taught in blocks and has just not even bothered to think. Setting the revs, bringing the revs up, finding the bite point, letting the brake off, and accelerating. You see? Look, literally, if I'm lying, I'm dying. I just explained what was going to happen, and it happened. Find the revs, find the bite point, let the brake off. Not as fast, but you could see the acceleration just there, couldn't you? You could see it was kind of, instead of a nice, comfortable like that, it started to go like that. Now, obviously, I don't have a clutch, so I'm having to use an auto to do that. And you sit there and you think, but that's not how you drive. You know, so I just told him, look, take your foot away from the accelerator. Now, anybody who's young and hasn't even got your driving licence yet, take your foot away, or if you've just passed, take your foot completely away from the accelerator. Completely away. Don't need it. You do not need it. Your engine is idling. Your engine already has revs. Lift your clutch up. In first gear, lift your clutch to the bite point. Take the handbrake off. Balance it a little bit. Start to move. Then take your foot off the clutch. Off you go. You don't need the accelerator. In this situation, you do not need your accelerator. I can actually take any car, well, virtually any vehicle to be fair, as long as it's not fully loaded, from first all the way to its top gear without touching the accelerator once. I mean, in my car, I've done that with the 6-speed, and I've gone from a standing start to about 48 miles an hour without touching my accelerator once. You don't need to. And driving instructors are not teaching people this. They're, oh, well, no, you've got to pass a test. So learn in blocks, and then that's it. And, of course, people, male or female, don't bother thinking outside the box once they've passed. And they're like, oh, this is how I drive. And you see them kangarooing in traffic jams, or like that Clio. Vroom, vroom, vroom. And you're like, why? You're just knackering your clutch, wasting your brakes, you wasting fuel you don't need to, and risking not being able to stop in time. It's bizarre, isn't it? Just absolutely bizarre. But anyway, I'm going to enjoy myself sitting in this traffic jam. I shall allow you to exit the traffic jam, and I shall see you when I get to Reading, or if I can think of anything else to say later on. Well, isn't this just joyful? Still on the M25, still knackered. That matrix bulb just illuminated back there as I was going towards it. Incident, slow down. Oh, who's gone and crashed now? This people is the joys of driving on bank holidays. It really is. I like working weekends because usually it's quiet. Yeah, it's really easy driving on a weekend. Hardly anybody on the road. Look at this silly punt. I always thought if it stuck out that far, you just needed to hang something on it, like a high vis or something. Probably not quite further enough, to be fair. But it is sticking out a bit, isn't it? I mean, I'm looking down the side of it, it's not really any further out than his mirror, so I suppose it's perfectly fine. But now that's somebody who's easily going to be close to 15 feet. I guesstimate, given what he's driving next to, that he's... and this is a guesstimation, about 14.5 foot. Because I know what he's been driving next to is a rigid, so that's shorter than I am, and I'm 14. So I'm looking at that thinking probably about 14.5. If I didn't measure that, I'd probably say 15, just to be safe, you know, in that situation. It's a bit like with my Prat Nav, my truck nav. It's a case of, I know that the highest vehicle I drive in the two contracts I primarily run for is 14 foot, which is the size of this unit. Don't go over that. There were trials of double deckers. I mean, the other contract I go in does have double deckers, and they are over 15 feet. 15.4, I think. But you have to have the on-site training before you're allowed to drive them, and they don't do that for the agency guys very often. So I literally never go over 14 feet, and because of that, on my Prat Nav, it's a Snooper S8000. You can set up your vehicle, you know, your width, your height, all your dimensions. Well, I always set myself up to be bigger than I am. So my height is 14'1". My width, I usually set to 9'5". Not, but that's what I set it to. And that way I know any routes that Prat Nav takes me on, I'm sitting pretty. I'm not going to come up against anything that's going to cause me issues. So a little heads up for you when you get it: don't set it to your exact dimensions. Give yourself leeway, set it higher. That way at least you're guaranteed to be safe. Because at the end of the day, if you set it for your exact dimensions, so say you're 13'6", and you set it for 13'6", and your Prat Nav hasn't been updated for a while, or they haven't updated that particular stretch of road, where the 13'6" bridge has now got work going on and it's 13'4". going to end up going straight towards it thinking, oh, well, I can fit under this, fine. Always give yourself some leeway, always give yourself a little bit extra. Now, what causes this queue here? And I'll see if I can prove the point. This is the M40 junctions on the M25. People see the signs and it says about a mile. Now at 60 miles per hour, 1 mile will take you 1 minute. So you have quite some time. But everybody sees it and goes, oh my god! Vroom, and changes lanes now. Because everything stops about here. What you do in this situation and on this stretch of road, for anybody who's watching, is you allow everything to just free flow. Okay, I've got a mile, so at 60 miles an hour I've got a minute. I'm doing 32, so I've basically got 2 minutes. Now, that's quite a long amount of time. And you trundle on, you let things go. Now obviously it is quite high volume, but you let things go, let the road open up a little bit. Now they're slowing down because somebody's pulling out in front. But as a general rule, you let the road go a little bit. He's not going fast enough, general rule, what would happen in that situation, and it kind of annoyed me a little bit. But then again, it's bank holiday, so this road isn't a normal situation at the moment. But what generally tends to happen is you carry on. This road opens up because now nobody's changing lanes. They've done that all the way back there under the first sign. And by the time you get to this point, everything's relatively free flowing. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case this time. Now, one thing to do when you are in traffic like this, and this does work, it doesn't matter what situation you're in, unless of course it's a road closure. Allow everything to run away from you. Literally, just allow everything to run away from you. Now, I could be accelerating as hard as he is. No point. Wasting more fuel than I need to. And look, I am now basically driving on an open road. Now, everything up there is still bunched up, which means brake lights are going to come on and things are going to stop. So I'm not really holding people up because I could go as fast and stop, fast and stop, fast and stop. I could be using my pedals like switches. On, off, off. No. Just trundle along, let everything mellow, let everything wander away from you. And then you're driving on an open road, aren't you? I mean, look. How many truck lengths have I got in front of me that's completely open? And then anybody who's in there can see it and go, oh, I can pull in here nice and safely, and it doesn't make everybody stop. But what you've got to do in this situation, one thing you do have to do if you're going to do this, is look right ahead. Go about 15, 20 vehicles ahead wherever you can see, and then react to what's going on there. Obviously look at the vehicle in front of you as well. Now what's this truck going to do? Is he going for this gap? I'm going to slow down just in case he does. Nah, he's going too fast. But you never know, people do sometimes push it all the way to the end. I mean, I wouldn't push it all the way to the end, but I would keep going until everything frees up, starts flowing a bit easier. Now obviously what you saw earlier when I first turned this on, well, first mentioned it I should say, is people stopping and starting. Well, I've done my method, slowed down, let everything roll. Have I stopped yet? No. Have I stopped and started? No. I'm slowing down, but I'm still moving. Giving him enough time to get in at the last minute. The Audi decided he knows a quicker way. God knows where. If he's going down to the 406 thinking, I can beat all this by going to the 406, good luck with that one, mate. The 406 is always knackered. Even in the middle of the night. But look, you know, I'm not stopping and starting like everybody else up there. remember, one thing you guys have to remember if you're going to get into truck driving is it is all about the fuel economy. The better the fuel economy you can have, the more guaranteed you are to get shifts if you're agency. If you're a guy who goes in and barely gets 6 or 7 miles a gallon, then they're not going to want you back that often over somebody who gets 10 or 11 miles a gallon. I mean, I'm doing 9.1 and I'm in stop-start traffic and I'm loaded. So, you know, I can stop, I can start, I can keep up with absolutely everything, and I'll be doing about 8. Or I can be doing what I'm doing 9.1. Well, made it to Reading, and there is an evil streak that runs in me. A really evil streak. See, I'm fully freighted, and the pallets are all the way to the back door with about that much room. Well, of course, my trailer is wider than their dock. Most dock levelers are slightly thinner than the trailers, obvious reasons, so as the thing can get onto the back of the trailer. Well, I've gone on square, and the bollards are like that, my trailer's like that, and of course the pallets are both stuck by the bollards. And the guys that are working out there have decided that they're going to strip the pallet down. And I thought, fair enough, I'll go get myself a cup of tea. This is my evil streak. I haven't told them that I could roll forward and move slightly over so that one pallet comes straight off and then it just... No, they want to split it down, go right ahead. You make your life harder for yourselves. It's an evil streak in me. A bit like something else. One thing I have not told you guys. When you pick your loads up to go somewhere, and I wasn't going to, I debated it for a little while, but I thought, nah, I can't be that evil to you. When you pick your trailer up to take your load somewhere, make sure that the load on your trailer is where you're going to, because it does happen. You pick up a load for Chelmsford and you take a load for Colchester to Chelmsford or whatever. It does happen. It really does. And the other thing is, it makes you think about where you're going. For example, and this is a true story, a few years ago, for the company that shall not be named, I wandered in. And there's a group of us, you know, standing by dispatch window waiting for our loads, and a phone rings. Guy answers it, having a conversation. And every so often, when you're standing in transport and doing things like that, something will catch you. You'll hear something, you'll be like, really? And then you'll start listening. And this phone call was a guy who'd phoned up. I don't know where he was from. I know he was a foreign driver. I don't know. He was one of our guys, but from Eastern European, Polish, Lithuanian, whatever. I don't know where. I'm not going to say where he was. And he phoned up and he said, they won't let me on the ferry. Now that is the moment every driver, when you're doing regional stuff for a distribution centre, your ears prick up. You're like, pardon? At first you think Woolwich ferry. They won't let me on the ferry. What do you mean they won't let you on the ferry? They won't let me on the ferry. They say they're not expecting me. Where are you going? Yarmouth. So he's flipped through all the paperwork. You're going to Great Yarmouth, you silly sod. Now, if you don't know the difference, I'm not going to tell you. Have a look. You'll see what I mean. But yes, he was going to Great Yarmouth, and he went to Yarmouth. There are two differences. And it was quite a long detour. Put it this way, he had to go back to the yard and he had to get shipped out again. But, it does happen, so always check your load. there is an evil streak in me. I have to admit it. And there are some things I'm going to let you guys find out for yourself. And I was debating on this one, but to be fair, it's one thing that you're very rarely told, and that is you get your trailer. Okay, so your trailer number is da 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 da. So you go around, you find da 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 da, and you hook up to it, you put the seal on it, and you go. And then you get da 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 to wherever you're going, and it turns out it didn't have the correct load on. I've known drivers take a trailer that's been empty before now, and you're sitting there and you're thinking, how did you not know? How? You think you just took an empty trailer. You know that trailer is empty. You can feel it. But that's a heads up for you. Whenever you pick a load up, unless it is a specifically custom sealed bonded load that you are not allowed to open, then you have, obviously in that situation you have to trust the paperwork. But if you're retail like myself, wholesale, retail, whatever, when you pick that vehicle up, open the doors, have a look, and find the label on one of the pallets saying where it's going to, and make sure it corresponds with where you're supposed to be going. Otherwise you might phone up and have a very embarrassing conversation saying, they won't let me on the ferry. Just Google it. Google map it. You'll figure it out. Anyway, I suppose I should wait for them to offload me and then head back. So I shall most likely see you back at the yard because my forward-facing camera died. There's so much traffic. Oh. It's taken me 2 hours 42 minutes of driving to get to Reading. Although, stop-start traffic. Just to put it into perspective for you, stop-start traffic. You've seen a lot of the footage. I have averaged 9.4 miles per gallon over 30 tonnes. That's the difference between stopping and starting and holding back and just rolling. Of course, this has eco roll mode. A lot of auto trucks these days have eco roll mode, whereby you just leave it alone, you don't touch anything, you're up to say 20 mile an hour, 25 mile an hour, you just take your foot off everything, a couple of seconds later it goes into E and the revs drop to like idle, and you're just rolling. Of course, you leave the gap, you can maintain, you don't have to stop, start, you just maintain. And I've just done 9.4 over 30 tonnes, and you saw the traffic I was driving in. There you go. Anyway, I shall most likely see you back at the yard and end my day, because this one has dragged on, I know. So yes, I don't have a forward-facing one anymore. Well, that was a really nice short day. I'm basically done, just filling my paperwork. It's still sunny. It's a Saturday. Pubs are still open. Now, from what I've been told by the guy behind transport, I am in at 12 o'clock tomorrow. Now, I haven't been sent the shift through on my phone yet, but we shall see. But whatever, I've been told I'm in at 12, so I'm coming in for 12. I've got to do a mathematical equation now. 50 cents. Yeah, there we go. Well, I'm paid until 5:30, and the time is 3:30. Lovely. So I've basically done 6 hours 15 minutes. And my driving time. Oh, I left it on POA where I was. 1, 4, 3, 33. Ooh. 3 hours 33 minutes of driving. All the threes today. But yeah, it's a nice short day. I'm in tomorrow. I've got loads of time to edit all of this stuff up. I've got some other raw material to edit so that I've got some filler vlogs for my days off. Hopefully I can get myself ahead again, because I keep meaning to do it and I never do. In relation to a vlog I did quite a while ago now about starting up a Facebook page, I can barely keep up with Twitter and the comment section on the YouTube video, so doing Facebook as well, remember what my job is. I can't exactly be, I can't do all of it, so that's kiboshed for a while. And I'll probably do it at a later stage, but at the moment it's a bit kiboshed. But I'll keep you up to date with that one. But yes, that's my day. I can edit everything, get myself ahead, hopefully. Although I had some forward-facing footage that I sped up a couple of days ago, and it was with the SJ cam, and I did it on the highest setting, or the best quality when I rendered it. Now it was sped up 1,000 times. Basically it was a 414 from junction 7 on the M1 all the way to Hatfield, to here. And picture quality was amazing. I mean, even at that speed, everything, you could actually see the blades of grass as I was going past at 1,000 times speed. I was like, wow, this is cool, I could use this. And so I went to put my little start card in and the little thank you for watching at the end. It was only about 2.5 minutes, something like that, whatever. It won't render it. The only way it will render it in that situation is if I render it at low quality, and of course it just mangles everything. So I know why the SJ cam is getting pixelated, because the Fastest Fox has commented on it, and I think a few of you guys have probably noticed since I've got the SJ cam, the forward facing gets really pixelated every so often. I'm going to have to render it, if I want to stop it from doing that, in the highest quality setting. The issue with that is one of my 40-minute vlogs is about 15 gig. It would take about a week to upload given my bleeding internet connection. So unfortunately I'm going to have to just deal with pixelated imagery at the moment. I'll have a look at the resolution settings and everything on that probably today now, because I've got enough time, and see whether I can fix it. But anyway, I've waffled on for way too long. Today has been nothing but waffle. So thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share about, do whatever it is you usually do, and I shall see you in the next one, which is tomorrow. See you later.